After the success of Street Fighter 2, Capcom has racked up serious competition and began experimenting as a result. Eventually, they decided, hey, let's make a new Street Fighter. Team. Yeah, boss? You have 3 months to make a new Street Fighter. Sure thing.
6 months later.
Team. You took double the time. It better be good. Boss. Street Fighter Classic. Oh, nice. This is great. Let's rename it to Street Fighter Zero. Bad name. What do you mean? It sounds terrible. Sounds like Street Fighter's gonna end. We're calling it Street Fighter Legends. Yeah. Sure. Whatever. Never mind. It's now called Street Fighter Alpha. Bruh. And in 1995, Street Fighter Alpha was born. Street Fighter Alpha Warrior's Dreams is a 6-button fighting game that acts as a prequel to Street Fighter 2. As such, it features characters from both 1 and 2, as well as a few new faces. The game also sports an art style that's influenced by Darkstalkers, which looks sick by the way. Alpha debuts with 13 characters, 3 of them being secret, those being Bison, Akuma, and Dan. To access them, you hover over a random box, hold start, and input a cheat code. For Bison and Akuma, it's directional based, and player 2 has to replace left with right. For Dan, you input an attack code, depending on which player you are. Upon selecting a character, you can choose between manual, or normal, and auto. Auto is essentially your simple mode, allowing auto guard and simple input supers by inputting a punch and kick of the same strength. Though, if you're playing alone, you get to choose between normal and turbo speeds, which I assume is due to a regional difference. Beats me. Alpha has a rather short arcade run. The final boss depends on the character you're playing, but also Bison is the final boss for around half of the cast. The game also has a secret 2v1 mode, where both players are set to Ryu and Ken, and are tasked with fighting Bison. It is a reference to the final fight in the animated movie. Alpha comes with a few new mechanics. You gain the ability to block in the air, you can roll when knocked down, and the combo system is completely different. It takes Darkstalkers' Magic Series system and adapts it. They call it the chain combo system, or chains for short. The thing though is that it's a bit finicky. Only some normals can be cancelled into each other. Just a small quirk. You can also mash out of Dizzy, which makes follow-ups hard to get. The core mechanic that makes Alpha Alpha is the new super meter. You can now get 3 bars instead of 1. You greedy bastard. Supers can use anywhere from 1 to 3 bars, depending on the amount of buttons you press. You also have the option to use 1 bar for an Alpha counter, which cancels block stun into a counterattack, and you can get a combo off of it. 1996 comes around with Street Fighter Alpha 2. It is a complete overhaul of the previous game, adding 5 new characters and making the secret characters part of the base roster, for a total of 18 characters. The North American version also comes with an alternate costume for Chun and Evil Ryu. As part of the overhaul, chain combos have been partially removed. Instead, it became a character-specific mechanic. For compensation, the game introduces Custom Combo, a level 1 super that allows you to loop multiple moves in a row for big damage. During the Custom Combo state, the opponent is unable to jump, walk back, or block. They are, however, able to use specials with built-in movement. If you activate into your opponent, and they do anything that's not block, you get a blowout, which stuns them on the spot. Evil Ryu can do it anywhere on the screen. He simply doesn't care. The series will come to a close on 1998, with the release of Street Fighter Alpha 3. It adds 9 new characters. On console, you also get an additional 4, and on Game Boy, you get another 3. Unfortunate reality that nobody sticks with the console ports. Alpha 3 comes with the ISM system, each offering a large list of advantages and disadvantages. A-ISM, also known as Z-ISM, is the default setting. V-ISM makes Alpha counters cost half, allow you to manually input between close and far normals, and makes special cancels easier, with the caveat of losing out on damage and losing every super outside of custom combo. X-ISM is the classic Street Fighter experience. You gain more damage, guard health, and larger throw range, but then you lose air block, attack roll, alpha counter, damage reduction, and worst of all, taunts. The final addition is the guard gauge at top. It's self-explanatory. Bar go down, no more block. The gauge existing tends to make or break the game, especially since this is an old game, which says a lot. And you can air tech. Alpha is a 3-part story, but also kind of not, as many of the characters in Alpha 1 had their plots retconned. The best place to start is with Alpha 2. You're not really missing much, and it rehashes the previous stories for the ones that are unchanged. The main story revolves around Ryu, and any other character whose story ties back to Ryu. A lot of the story is hidden away in other mediums, so you're forced to do some digging in the wikis. It's a rather interesting read, but it's unfortunate that the story does have a lot of holes. Alpha will also get a PlayStation 2 exclusive collection in 2006, known as Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. It comes with the original trilogy, Alpha 2 Gold, Gem Fighter, which deserves its own video, Alpha 3 Upper, and Hyper Alpha. Not much to talk about here. Fortunately for y'all, people do actually play Alpha. The mainstay is Alpha 3, though Alpha 2 gets a decent pool of players as well. Both Alpha 2 and 3 have semi-active servers. They don't seem to be very keen on chatting much. They do, however, offer resources to learn characters and tech. You know, very basic stuff. Alpha is a very interesting phase of Street Fighter. So far, this is the only games that has air blocking, but not the only one with aerial defense. Being able to block in the air makes jumping a whole lot safer, unless you press the button.
Why do you press, idiot?
Because DPs are no longer a big threat in this regard, you find yourself jumping more often to close the gap. It creates a game of will they press. Not if you're playing Xism though, sucks to be you, I guess. Teching adds another layer of guessing. Air tech has 3 variations, and ground tech has 2, unless they're playing Alpha 2 which has 3 different roles. You are given more options to escape pressure and return to neutral. Does that technically mean you're playing more Street Fighter? Surely a mystery. Characters this time around have more going on with them. This is where they start to truly shine. Despite there being 5 Shotos, each and every one are tailored differently. Ryu is your basic white bread, rotisserie chicken, water without any ice character. An all-rounder with good buttons. High stun combos. One of the best cross-ups in the game, and one of the 3 best meter gain in the game? My bad, I didn't understand your game. Have a nice day. Ken deviates from being a Ryu clone and leans more into being Kickman. He has good throws in his arsenal that either have good carry or set up juggles. He has an infinite on player 1 side, amazing rolls, good air mobility, insane large hitbox on medium DP, many good things. But he doesn't have a hard knockdown on Fireball, and his ground Tatsu is no good, and he's stubby. Sakura is the 4th best character in the entire game. Really good buttons, extremely oppressive, amazing with punish game, the best cross-up vortex, everything. She even did leg day. Fortunately, she didn't learn what a meterless reversal is, and fireballs are too risky to throw out. I guess being a schoolgirl makes you a privilege in this universe. Akuma is a broken top tier. What? No way, really? Who could have known? Bewildering information. How could this be? I need to call my lawyer. Dan is the resident joke character of the game. He is made as a parody of Ryo from Art of Fighting, and as a joke character, he's pretty bad. His kit is overall subpar, not only as a Shoto, but as a character in general. Despite his numerous flaws, he does have some qualifying upsides. He has one of the best meter gain, decent normals, crazy fast tiger knees, push block, and can escape Akuma's unblockable setups. And infinite taunts, the best part. Dan is known to be a technical character, which remains as a core part of his character to this day. His tiger knee is a very tight window to execute, and messing up can throw the game. It makes him super risky to play, along with being very dependent on meter for advantage and damage output. He's not really for the faint of heart. Charlie is originally made as a replacement to Guile, before Guile got added back on the Game Boy port. While being very similar to Guile, he ends up being a more aggressive version of the character. He is the only character in the game to have a forward dash, allowing him to follow his projectile much more closely. He also has one of the most oppressive corner traps in the game, though he is held back by a weak anti-air, and has trouble against characters that can low profile projectiles. While the game being faster paced makes the 60 frame charge feel worse, Charlie is a very solid character to run with, and personally, he is the cooler Daniel. Dhalsim is somehow still top tier. His buttons are super fast, despite having huge hurt boxes. He can also escape any and all juggles. He is literally a perfect character in nearly every possible way. Outside of being tall and having a bad anti-air. Your time will come, Zoner. Something, Honda bad, headbutt cheeks, slow, fat, meter hungry, fat. Guys, I think there's something going on with Chun. I can't seem to put my finger on it. Chun gains the 2nd fastest walk speed in the game, and paired with her really good buttons, she can wall you out with minimal effort. Hell, she's even short enough to walk on her mini moves. Miss Speedy Gonzalez has few but very noticeable drawbacks. She's surprisingly technical in some areas, like customs, and she heavily depends on crouch cancels, which is a tech that cancels landing recovery. The Alpha series are a weird bunch that rarely gets much attention, which is unfortunate as the games have paved their own ground and became something truly unique. If you're looking for a more unconventional game with the stroke of that familiarity, I recommend to give Alpha a try. Also, can some of y'all not use a VPN on Fightcade? This ain't enjoyable.